the well-appointed A-Rod is joining us, and you signed a big deal years ago, 10 years, $250, Texas, and it was the first contract where it was like, wow. And you were also you were a great defensive player. You were a productive offensive player. You had your years ahead of you. I look at the Aaron Judge deal, and I'm like, he's going into 30. He's had injuries. That's a lot of money. I'm happy for Aaron Judge. 9 years to a 30-year-old with injuries? Couldn't I question that, Alex?
Well, Colin, what happens is when you have players, whether it's a Kobe Bryant, a LeBron James, a franchise player, day one that these guys have the goods. They have the goods and talent, Madison Avenue, great character. We learned nothing new the last 12 months. If the Yankees can have a mulligan, they would fast forward 5 years, sign him for 10 years when he was 25, and get him to 35, and then call it a day.
Right.
But they backed themselves into a corner that they just gave him the hammer and he used it.
Yeah, they've still got issues with that team. Now, the Mets went out and spent money on Verlander. I tend to think, he's still a horse in big spots. I just like when he's on the mound in big spots, that's generally the side you like. My takeaway is I get that move. Your thoughts?
I loved it. Look, I like, Colin, baseball-centric front offices. You look at Houston with Jim Crane. You look at Stephen Cohen and Buck Showalter. You have the Braves' most experienced baseball staff. But the combination of Stephen Cohen and Buck Showalter, who I think is the smartest mind in the game today, I loved it for two reasons. One, he's 1A, 1B. He's connected back with his old teammate Scherzer. That's a hell of a two-headed monster. I love the length, 2 years, very controllable.
Yeah.
And I just love getting those two guys back together.
So it's interesting. Xander Bogaerts goes Red Sox, Padres. These shortstops, like the biggest it's shortstops. Now, baseball's analytics has changed, but it is interesting who the sport pays now. Are you noticing? I'm sure you're noticing this.
Yeah, the shortstops haven't changed, and I'm happy for that. I'm a big advocate for that, Colin, as you know. The other ones that are getting paid incredibly well are the starting pitchers. Now, starting pitchers, to take away the Verlanders and Scherzers and Garrett Coles of the world, but pitchers in this industry, in this era, have never made more money and have never been asked to do less. So you get paid more money, but you get yanked in the fifth or fourth inning. It's an incredible metrics, and I think there'll be a fix over time.
I want to ask you about this. Some of the reason the Yankees, I always feel like the Yankees are overspending and trying to catch up on mistakes. It feels not desperate, but it's. I don't look at them as like the Dodgers, for instance. They've let good players go. They've Machado, Kershaw got a 1-year deal. They just let Trey Turner go. And I look at the Dodgers and I think excellent minor league system, excellent development. The guys they spend generally, it doesn't feel desperate. They let guys walk. So Trey Turner goes to the Phillies. I saw the contract. Is he that big of a difference maker in your opinion?
I think so. And reuniting him with Harper, reuniting him with the hitting coach, Kevin Long, world-class talent, runs like the wind, has power, tremendous character, and it just adds to that Philadelphia. Look, they can taste it last year. I was there in Philly for every game during the playoffs and World Series, and it was electric. And you got to give the Phillies ownership a lot of credit. But you have baseball people making baseball decisions. The same thing with the New York Mets. Going back to the Yankees, it just feels like they're a dollar short, a day late every single time, like a bad poker player. But, getting Aaron Judge is unanimous. You should have signed him 4 or 5 years ago. If you sign him for $100 and you take that delta of $260 million and you then deploy that capital to other players to help you bring a world championship, awesome. The Mets do a great job. They let go DeGrom, and before the ink is dry and he's on the plane, they already brought in Verlander. So they're playing very proactive chess versus reactive, and that's why I think the Mets have struggled, and the Yankees have struggled because there's no baseball people in their organization. Tim Naring is the only guy left, I believe.
So the Dodgers have, their lineup is excellent. Let Bellinger go, who'd had a couple of bad seasons. Big hole in the swing, let him go. I think most Dodger fans were okay with that. Now Turner's gone. So you think to yourself, all right, do we have the pitching now? Kershaw, 1-year deal, getting older. Do the Dodgers have anything in free agency you look at and think, hey, they got a hole, they need to solve it?
They have the trifecta. I would never doubt the Dodgers. They have two of the smartest owners in the game, and Todd Boehly and Mark Walters. You have Friedman, who's a wonderful general manager, and you have great baseball people all around. They're the smartest people in the group and the richest. I believe the Dodgers are going to do something really good, and there's something up their sleeve. Don't sleep on the Dodgers.
Finally, it was interesting. You know, Met fans, when you grow up in a neighborhood and, you know, the Yankees and you're the little brother, it's almost like being the Jets or the Clippers in Los Angeles. You're the little brother. And through the years, I've seen the Mets sort of react, you know, hastily or desperately. And when DeGrom left, I was surprised. They kind of freaked out. And I thought, it's a good team. You know, DeGrom isn't always dependable. I don't think less of the Mets today. Like, what did you make of the DeGrom move? I thought New York freaked out. People were angry, and I'm like, that's not a thing. Or is it?
I thought it was a brilliant move. No one wants to lose DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom is one of the best pitchers in the game. But, boy, if you can come back, instead of giving 5 years, you give up 2 years, and you reunite Scherzer and Verlander, is a wonderful move. Colin, there's nothing that calms down these baseball nations, right? Big franchises with rich history. Is when you have smart people. Look, in a thunderstorm, you want a great pilot. There's no better pilot in the game today than Buck Showalter. And to have Stephen Cohen's pocket, $16, $17 billion, the richest owner in the game of baseball. I said it when they hired Buck Showalter. They will win 2 championships in the next 7 years. I stand by my comment.
I got a question for you. And I'm not close enough to the sport to know. Mookie Betts left the Reds. I always consider the Red Sox like the third richest team. You know, it was like Yankees, maybe Dodgers, Red Sox. So Mookie Betts wouldn't pay for him. Xander Bogaerts, outbid by the Padres. What is up with the Red Sox? Is it? You tell me. Where are they as a franchise?
I'm not close to it enough, Colin, to comment with any, I'm just not close. Here's what I will tell you is I like proactive. I don't like reactive moves. And it seems like the Red Sox are a little bit on their heels. If you're not going to sign Bogaerts, then maybe you trade him a year ago and get some value for him. But having just guys in a season that you're not competitive, having Bogaerts run out his contract and then run off to the West Coast, to me, that's a big miss.
A-Rod. Alex Rodriguez, Fox Sports, very well appointed in his office in, I can just tell it's Coral Gables. It's a nice area. That's why everybody knows you live down there. It's great seeing you as always, Alex.
Great seeing you.
It's pitchers and shortstops now. The Padres never had big boy money about 3 years ago. Now they're just, I always thought the Red Sox, it was Yankees are the richest. Now, because of Steve Cohen, now the Mets are up there. But it was like the Braves had money. Dodgers had money. There's always a handful, like Houston now, big boy money. Texas had some money. I thought the Red Sox were in that class. If you look at their TV revenue, if you look at their revenues, Google them, they're way up there. Mookie Betts was arguably the best overall talent. Let him go. This kid's big-time shortstop. Padres pay. I don't know. What do you make? What's happened to the Red Sox?
Well, I thought the Mets move with DeGrom. I like what A-Rod said, but I am curious. Do you know a lot about this Mets owner? Have you read about this Steve Cohen?
Yeah, he's a Mets fan.
But also his background. He's incredibly wealthy. There's some awesome stories about him online. This guy's just like a real legend in his industry. And I kind of like what he's done with the Mets, and I'm not allowed to say that as a Yankees fan.
Right.
But I kind of like his aggressive nature as an owner.
So you tell me, DeGrom, would you trust him in a big spot? His health?
Can you trust anybody? Any of these starting pitchers in baseball?
Mets fans freaked out, and I was like, they were always complaining, health issues. I don't know. I just didn't think it was like the Mets, to me, are capable of surviving the exit of Jacob DeGrom. They need more sticks to me. They need another stick.
What do the Yankees need? Because they did nothing
I think they
against
have,
the Astros.
I think they had pitching issues. I think Garrett Cole hasn't been what they thought. I think they have a lot of issues. Yeah. Very home run reliant, which I guess now in baseball is okay.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.